Hey, good Sunday morning, everybody. Jim Bull coming at you in my office here before taking off for Pagoda. We got to head back to Pagoda here for the Mama event today and cover some race action. But I wanted to get out to you before I left because it'll be a long day there, and that's all good, but I won't get home till late again. So anyhow, we're on Proverbs, chapter number 28, Motocross for Christ Bible Study. We're getting through it. And this chapter is just packed full of wisdom, man. It's great, great messages for early Sunday morning. God must have knew we were going to do Proverbs studies in August. And I guess the dates just lined up this way this year, so, you know. But anyhow, great information if you're headed off to church, if you're headed off to the races, or no matter if you're going to watch preseason football today. I guess that's already started. I don't do much of that. But anyhow, great wisdom. Let's dive right into it. Proverbs chapter 28, New Living Translation. The wicked run away when no one is chasing them, but the godly are as bold as lions. Okay? With God on your side, no one can defeat you. Okay? But the wicked run away when no one is chasing them. Because they're scared. They have fear in their life. One thing I got when I accepted Jesus was the fear of everything left my life. God will make you strong. Verse 2 says, when there is moral rot within a nation, this is good. When there is moral rot within a nation, its government topples easily, but wise and knowledgeable leaders bring stability. When have we had that last? Poor person who oppresses the poor is like a pounding rain that destroys the crops. A poor person who oppresses the poor is like a pounding rain that destroys the crops. To reject the law is to praise the wicked. To obey the law is to fight them. So, even this morning, overnight, some things happened, and I'm feeling kind of helpless. And it's like, how can one man make a difference? You try so hard to be an influence, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But God is telling us here is to obey the law, is to fight the wicked. To obey the law is to fight the wicked. Do what's right, man. Evil people don't understand justice, but those who follow the Lord understand completely. The answers are there. He gives them to us. Better to be poor and honest than to be dishonest and rich. Talks about this over and over. Young people, and again, I guess this does refer to cash, because being poor and no knowledge, I don't know. Would love to hear some opinions. Haven't gotten to many of those throughout this study. Would love some feedback. Y'all are taking it in, though I'm happening. Young people who obey the law are wise. Those with wild friends bring shame to their parents. I'm going to say that again for anybody who might be watching. Verse 7 says, young people who obey the law are wise. Those with wild friends bring shame to their parents. And not only shame, and even more so than shame, I think on my situation, I'll speak for myself, is sadness. I'm not ashamed of my kids for what they've done. I'm sad for what they suffer because of what they do. And I can't point the finger because I've lived it all. Some of you heard a short testimony of mine last night. I've lived it all. I can't point the finger at anybody for anything because I've done it all. Most of it not good, but how can I be a hypocrite like that? This one I had to look up. Verse 8 says, income from charging high interest rates will end up in the pocket of someone who is kind to the poor. And what the footnote says is that money will eventually come back to good. It's being pulled for bad, but it'll eventually end up helping the poor or people who are less fortunate and need help. So, verse 9 says, God detests the prayers of a person who ignores the law. Again, I thought this ironic because it's like, I think the other day we talked about, you're at a funeral and everyone says, oh, they're in a better place now. Some are and some aren't, depending on what they believe, depending on how they led their life. And this verse says, God detests the prayers of a person who ignores the law. Isn't it true that whenever we get into a bad situation or a situation where someone's hurt or ill, we ask for prayers? But 90% of the time, we don't even talk to God. Only when we need something, right? Only when we need something. Think about that. Those who lead good people along an evil path will fall into their own trap, but the honest will inherit good things. Rich people may think they are wise, but a poor person with discernment can see right through them. When the godly succeed, everyone is glad. When the wicked take charge, people go into hiding. People who conceal their sins will not prosper. I'm on a sin kick, baby, and it just kicked off the other day. People who conceal their sins will not prosper. But if they confess and turn from them, they will receive mercy. You know, my wife and I have been talking about the visible and the invisible sin. It's like if, she used this example late last night. If 3 young girls walk into a room and one of them is pregnant, say they're sophomores or juniors in high school. 3 young girls walk into a room and one of them is pregnant. Right away, we're all pointing the finger and talking about her, right? Oh, she's a bad girl. Okay? In the next room over, there's 3 boys, same age, right? Okay? We look at them. They look like they're perfectly normal. We don't form any judgments about them. Okay? But one of them is the daddy to that baby. Now, why is the chick hammered but not the guy? Okay? Judgment is a sin, peeps. Getting pregnant before marriage, God says, is a sin. Judging that person for it is just as big of a sin. I'm going to go more on that later. Blessed are those who fear to do wrong, but the stubborn are headed for serious trouble. Verse 15 says, a wicked ruler is as dangerous to the poor as a roaring lion or an attacking bear. A wicked ruler, one who is unwise, who does not follow the word. A ruler with no understanding will oppress his people, but one who hates corruption will have a long life. A murderer's tormented conscience will drive him into the grave. Don't protect him. The blameless will be rescued from harm, but the crooked will be suddenly destroyed. A hard worker has plenty of food, but a person who chases fantasies ends up in poverty. Proverbs is touched over and over on laziness and working hard. A trustworthy person will get a rich reward, but a person who wants quick riches will get into trouble. And that rich reward might not always be a lot of cash. It could be great blessings in your life, happiness, health, love, freedom. We take so much for granted here in America, don't we? Showing partiality is never good, yet some will do wrong for a mere piece of bread. How easily do we sell out sometimes? Greedy people try to get rich quick, but don't realize they're headed for poverty. Verse 23 says, in the end, people appreciate honest criticism far more than flattery. And I think so many times there's so much sugarcoating going on. I wanted to touch on this last night in a church service I did, and I missed on it because I never look at my notes. I don't know why. But we're afraid to hurt people's feelings. We want everything to be happy and kumbaya, you know, but I think that people just want to hear the real deal, you know. They appreciate, deep down, they appreciate truth and honesty more than they do to BS. Anyone who steals from his father and mother and says that what's wrong with that is no better than a murderer. Again, is one sin any worse than another? As humans, we would like to think that stealing from your parents a pack of cigarettes or a case of beer or a can of beer isn't near as bad as killing someone, right? I believe in God's eyes it is. Greed causes fighting. Trusting the Lord leads to prosperity. Those who trust their own insight are foolish, but anyone who walks in wisdom is safe. Anyone who walks in wisdom is safe. Protect yourself. Ask the Lord to come around you and be your shield of armor. He wants to do it. Verse 27, whoever gives to the poor will lack nothing, but those who close their eyes to poverty will be cursed. When the wicked take charge, people go into hiding. When the wicked meet disaster, the godly flourish. Our society is headed on that road. We're at the end of the chapter here, peeps. Good Sunday morning to you. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great